my stream. I know I said last week that I was going to play Towers and Tales again, but I've had this one sitting in my to-play queue, I guess you could call it, for a while now. So, this is Our Life, Beginnings and Always by GBPatch Games. I will include a link in the video description when I upload this to YouTube. It's on itch. The base game itself is available for free, but the DLCs are available. You have to buy these DLCs, just like with the Andromeda 6. And the basic premise is that you live near the beach, and every summer, you meet the same boy, and you basically grow up together, and there's an option for you to romance him, for your relationship to develop, and there are other reasons that this has been highly recommended by people that I've met playing games like When the Night Comes and Our Sweet Spirits. So, there's a tutorial. Welcome to Our Life, Beginnings and Always. Full tutorial goes over every gameplay aspect and how it all works in detail. So, we'll go ahead and do that, because this is different from the other visual novels that I've played, and it's been a few months since I last played this. In the main menu, there are multiple ways to get to the game. Continue goes to the most recent save, if there is one, otherwise start the game from the beginning. New file always starts the game right from the beginning, and load lets you click from all the available save files and jump back into whichever one you'd like to keep playing. You'll also see a gallery option from the main menu, that lets you view special CG images that appear at certain points in the story. This is breaking things down for people who are new to visual novels. Many CGs happen automatically by simply going through the game, while some can only be seen by making specific choices and or having a specific type of relationship with a certain character. It is impossible to get every CG from a single playthrough. You have to replay/reload a save file to make different choices in order to view them all. Enhanced CG images aren't available in the free version of the game. They only appear in the DLC moments that can be purchased. The DLC CGs are marked as such so you know if you can fill that spot or not while playing the free version. Getting into the actual game, Our Life currently is divided into 4 time periods called steps. Step 1 is childhood, Step 2 adolescence, Step 3 teenage, Step 4 adulthood. The script is further divided into sets of vignettes that take place during specific periods of time. These are called moments. Moments can be played in any order or skipped entirely. You move on to the next step whenever you want by selecting that center is ending. Unlike the first 2 steps, Step 4 adulthood is a little different. This is an epilogue and won't feature moments like the first 3 steps. Steps 1 through 3 include 5 moments each, and even more can be unlocked by purchasing DLC. 3 DLCs are available right now. The DLC for each step from 1 through 3. More will release later on. When beginning your Our Life playthrough, you'll be met with the character creation screen. There you'll be able to decide various details about the protagonist for that file. You determine nearly everything about the main character: name, appearance, personality, pronouns, interests, skills, their relationship with major characters, and so on. You can decide to change the details as time goes on, with a few exceptions. Last name, skin tone, and eye color can't be altered when it's set. To make the traits you're giving the NC easier to picture, there's a cute doll shown on the NC feature deciding screen. Now, not all the things you decide about the NC appear on the doll. The script referencing what you decide for the NC is the main way that those decisions influence the game. As the NC grows up, even more options become available to them. And Our Life has a first-person perspective, so your character doesn't appear next to other characters. You only see the MC as a decorative doll and in special cut-in CG images. The cut-in CGs only appear if certain choices are made. It's possible not to see any during a playthrough. As mentioned, one of the decisions you'll get to make for your character is selecting a name. You can type in any name you like, or you can pick a preset name. Preset options are called voice names because the name will be voiced aloud by the romantic lead. You get to hear him say your name as you play through the story. Only the default name, Jamie, is included in the base game. Hundreds more can be added by getting a free voice name expansion DLC. I have not done that. The full collection of names is separated out as a DLC because of how large it is. If you're not interested in that feature, you don't need to get it. I didn't. Each name of DLC belongs to or was selected by someone who supported this project. After choosing a voice, you'll be able to retype the name if the spelling isn't what you'd like, such as using the voice name Gray with the spelling Gray. And you can change the name/voices you go by each time a new step begins. You can also go from using a voice name to an unvoiced name, and vice versa. While all the characters in our life have partial voice acting, only the main interest will utilize the voice first name feature. No one else will say the names aloud. Moving on from the character creation screen, there's a second special screen that determines details about the MC, the interest/comfort screen. Unless you get DLCs, the game has one love interest, named Cove Holden. He grows up with the MC, and the interest/comfort screen is crucial for determining how that plays out. Interest level sets how much you like him. There are 4 levels: disinterest, fond, crush, and love. Love is only available starting in step 3, and if you are at fond or crush, step 1. Step 2. The difference between crush and love is not as large as the difference between other interest levels, since both make the MC interested in Cove. But crush means you're interested in him and might consider having him be your boyfriend. You'll still be flirting with other characters around. Love means Cove is absolutely the only person in the world for the MC, and they consider not just dating, but spending their whole life with him. You can't be flirting with anyone else either. Comfort determines how you generally react to things when it comes to him. There are 3 levels: nervous, relaxed, and direct. Your level of interest and comfort will set the type of dynamic your character has with the love interest. You get to decide your interest/comfort near the beginning of every step. Comfort can switch between the 3 levels as you please. Your interest level can only stay the same or increase. Your current level of interest will become the new lowest option on the screen in the future. For example, if you decide to be fond in step 1, interest will not be available on the screen in steps 2 through 4, which will make fond the bottom level option for your relationship. What you did in the past will influence the present, and feelings can change over time. An indifferent interest level in step 1 that moves to the crush level in step 2 will be a little different than if you were always crushing on Cove. The same goes for the other interest level combinations: indifferent staying indifferent, indifferent to friendship, friendship but still friendship, friendship to crush, etc. So, through interest levels, you can make a slow burn romance, starting at disinterest and having the feelings grow over the steps until love is reached only at the very end. Or you can be totally into each other from the beginning, or you can always stay just good friends or something else. The experience can be further customized by trying out different comfort levels. As for him, Cove will return the same level of interest you have. He wants to get along with you if you give him a chance. If you don't, he'll keep his distance. Interest level has an impact when it comes to physically interacting with Cove. While growing up, things are rather simple. If you get along with one another and have a close relationship, you can choose to touch him, and Cove will occasionally interact with the MC in lighthearted or comforting ways. By starting step 3, touching can become more romantic or suggestive if you're at crush or love. To make sure things go nicely with that, there will be an extra choice to determine initiative level, and a bonus mini tutorial that goes along with the choice to explain the few factors in more detail. Basically, even if you decide you like Cove, the game won't force you to act on those feelings. You can always choose not to get together with him, choose not to accept or give romantic gestures, etc. If you do decide to take Cove, though, you can't break up with him later. Interest/comfort gets the basics down, but it's the choices that appear throughout the normal game events that decide what actually happens between the MC and Cove. And it isn't only the MC who is impacted by your decisions. Cove grows and changes over the years. How he's treated and what he experiences help shape who he becomes. After step 1, Cove's personality, appearance, and interests will vary based on what happened in the previous step. The differences in personalities become more notable in Step 3 than in Step 2. Cove's appearance is separated into shirts, pants, hairstyles, glasses, bracelet, and necklace. Earrings also become available in Step 3 and tattoos in Step 4. Usually there are as many options as the number step it is, so only one version of Cove in Step 2, Step 1, 2 hairstyles, shirt options, glasses, tags, etc. in Step 2, and then 3 of each in Step 3. There are some exceptions. Steps 2 and 3 only have one necklace option, and Step 4 has 2. Sometimes Cove has special occasion outfits, such as wearing a swimsuit or jacket. This Cove tends to have fewer possible options, or only come in just one version. Hair, shirt, and pants have to appear on Cove. Glasses, bracelets, necklaces, and earrings are optional and can be left out entirely. Cove's personality falls along the warm, moderate, cold spectrum. As a child, he simply says what he thinks when he feels like it, and that's it. He can remain that way as he grows, becoming chattier, or start keeping things to himself. The moderate Cove remains straightforward and candid with how he tends to interact with people. The Cove on the warm side can be more polite and personable, might have longer conversations, or add in some lighthearted teasing. He's affable. The Cove on the cold side tends to say things more briefly, especially with those he is close with, be needier and more serious. He's quiet. It's possible to have him fall somewhere in between rather than only being at one extreme end or the other. No matter what, Cove is an introvert who is sentimental and tends to get flustered when it comes to romance. His interests fall along the sporty, mixed, studious spectrum, but work similarly to his personality one. When he's young, Cove has a variety of interests. As time goes on, that can stay the same, begins to focus on more athletic, outdoorsy activities, become more interested in academic, indoorsy ways to spend time. It's something of a mystery exactly how your decisions end up changing him. You can try to guess as you go along. Or, if you prefer, you can also just design your own ideal Cove directly using the Cove Creator option that pops up at the beginning of Steps 2 and 3. Making the choices you want is always more important than making a choice because you feel like you have to in order to get a certain result. When a choice does appear, usually you'll see that hovering the cursor over an option shows a certain color, yellow, blue, or green. The colors aren't related to specific points or effects, only there to give a bit of insight on the tone / emotion of the choice, and text alone can potentially be read in more than one way. Thank you! I don't know how many times I've picked a conversation option in a game like Dragon Age, and realized that was not what I wanted to say. Blue has the casual, straightforward. Though more emotive, reactive, and pretty less certain and committed. Though there are hundreds of options in our life, and not every choice menu falls in line with that pattern. Picking just one color every time doesn't give a gameplay benefit. Only stick to a certain type if that's what you happen to like, otherwise switch between them freely. I always pick yellow, never pick yellow, pursue romance right from the start, never romance the love interest, be disagreeable or amiable. None of them will lead to a bad ending. You're welcome to enjoy the events and shape the story without reservation. And then, if you like, you play again to try something new. There's only ever more good content to discover. We hope you'll have a nice time with our life. Thank you for playing. So, obviously, I have not played this at all. Not on this computer. Started it on my desktop, but I didn't get far. First because I decided I wanted to do live stream it, and it's more fun to experience it to not know what's coming. So here we go. I do have some specific ideas of where I want to go with this, but I don't know how it's going to affect my relationship with Cove. Welcome to our life, beginnings and always. There are various ways you can customize and interact with the game. This tutorial is an overview of how certain features work. You can read the full tutorial from the main menu to learn about everything in detail. So we already know this part. We know this. We know this. coming out of this. A lot happens over the years that go by, especially in regard to the character you play as. You determine nearly everything about the main character: name, appearance, personality, pronouns, interests, skills, their relationship with major characters, and so on. Okay. Okay, we know this already. Let's do the whole tutorial. Okay, here we go. Fish shape. Okay. The round can be pointed, oval, peach, square. Round, chubby, pointed, oval. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 sections. What handy dandy dice here. Let's just go. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oval shape. Okay, skin tone. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 skin tone. 3. 1, 2, 3. This thing. Okay. Eye shape. There's 14. Okay, so I'm going to use a d20, and if I get anything above a 14, then I'll re-roll. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. This color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. There's a d12. 1. Black. Okay, there are frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I lost it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did it again. Let me work on this, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. I haven't even noticed any of these. Okay, this is a lot. So we're going with T. And there's a reason for that. So probably shorter hair. Longer hair, I should say. Okay. You know where I'm going. Okay, so let's go with this. Okay, so hair color 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Anything besides above 13, I reroll my d20. That is definitely 13. So what? Very interesting. And of course, no back hair color, so we're good there. Right. First name. I don't want Jamie. I want it to be a definitely feminine name. We're not going with styles. Let's go with we're smart. You can't really see them. Can't really see those either. Okay. So, in size 1 or 4, medium, 2 or 5, heavy, 3 or 6, slender. 2, chubby. Glasses. Okay, what's your glasses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Okay. We can determine if they have a birthmark somewhere else and scars elsewhere. And yes, you can have freckles elsewhere on your body, not just on your face. These are just, I assume, preferred clothes. Because, you know, even as a kid, there were always clothes that I preferred to wear over others. And that hasn't changed much since I've grown up. I might turn my back to it. I might use them later. Okay. And done. Here we go. Saving. So finally starting. Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usually sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. It took me about half an hour to get through all that. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of school-less vacation with it. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. Mom, right there. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing next doors. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. I didn't really get why they always had to say hi. They saw you every day, but you know how to back them anyway. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people, since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew you well enough to expect that. Let's go with saying hi to everyone. Because if Cove is an introvert, it'd be kind of nice to have him be with someone who's not much of an introvert, and it's actually, I would be more this one. But one thing I'm trying to do with playing games like this is pick options that don't necessarily reflect on me, because it's the fun of playing these games is doing something that's different. You enjoyed learning all about where they were visiting, planning and tips to visit those places one day too. But today there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person, a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was the people who you didn't recognize really, really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your mom called it. So, for you, not knowing who the total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your mom's had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. You hadn't exactly been listening at the time. You think it could be okay to talk to new people? You mentioned that some people aren't good to protect you, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. Remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite then. I kind of like the idea that you weren't listening. But you weren't sure about this man yet. So you felt a bit scared knowing that he was walking away to your front door. But you were pretty interested. You wanted to know more about what was going on. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be bothered. You slowed down, your eyes remaining fixed on the man. There was a split second where your eyes met and you knew he was aware he wasn't alone in the street anymore. Hey! You raised your eyebrows at the shout. Did he want something? Why he was here? The man stood up and started to make his way towards you. Not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms and stared. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offered the stranger a smile. Your whole body was frozen in place as he approached. The man gives a grin of his own back. Do you live around here? What's your name? He looked the man up and down, taking in his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed, the way he was acting wasn't. He had sharps on his shorts, a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. Could be. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. Yeah, I live here. I live right there. My name is Julius. He continued to say nothing. We'll go with the first one. That's great. He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Well? Could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, let me start over. Go to start and sit up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. I have a son. His name is Cove. He's about your age. Oh, that seemed like a strange thing for an actual living person to you. Shoot on the inside of your cheek. The dog was definitely obsessed with water. I thought that was pretty cool. I've never met anyone with that name. We moved in across the street. See? Gestured towards the house that had been empty for a year, with watch cats in the late afternoon sunlight reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Julia Hunt, right? I met your mom's earlier, and they told me you were 8, just like him, so... He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips to the corners. You try to be friends with the boy? Just give him a chance and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him. So, you need to be friends with his son. That's not Evie or anything. Hang on, I'm going to turn down the music. It's really distracting. Okay.
Do you mind?
But you've got to keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. You eyed the man. You kind of felt sorry for Cove. Did other kids really get the chance to pay for friendships? Yeah, we'll go with that one. Your mom said not for you and Lizzie? The thought made you frown. What'd you say? Want to make a deal? You took the bill, you didn't want the money, you ran away. Didn't want the money. No thank you. Sorry. You deflated enough to know us, but not completely.
Are you sure?
It won't be so bad. Even if it's just for the summer, that'd be enough. That only made this sound more strange to you. Why does it lessen for the summer matter? But it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly. He tucked the bill into a back pocket and changed the request. I get it. You don't have to. Would you be comfortable with he and I coming up by for a normal visit? No money involved. Yeah, I want to meet him. Okay, you can do that, I guess. You have to ask my mom. She didn't answer the man. We'll go with this one. His smile got bigger again. His eyes crinkled at the sides. Of course, they invited us over earlier. But I'd like to ask you, too. Then I guess you can. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but... well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. He laughed when I said that, but with the way his face looked, he thought he actually wanted to cry. If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cap and sunglasses. You can't miss it. Sure thing. I can try. Okay. We'll go this way. You nodded, not totally certain that you'd find Cove, but willing to look. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, right before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Smart man. Your moms are already checking around for me. Sure, that's a thoughtful group you are. I better go look, too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. Thought he might come back, and that's not when it's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Julia. So much. He jogged off down the street without another word. He decided to check the hills behind your house. Step 1. First sight. Okay, it doesn't, I can't say where. Or can I? Aha, yes I can. Just have to hit escape. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. I always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. I loved to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. I didn't enjoy the beach all that much, especially the sand, which got absolutely everywhere. Let's go with this one. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself you had seen the flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try to relax and couldn't. You weren't sure what. Something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees and staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just so he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you found a deer in the wild. So, deer didn't have green hair, wavy eyebrows, huge glasses, pink cast, sad frowns. We'll go with pink cast. If this new boy did, you wondered how he got it. After a few more seconds, he took a step forward, then another, and then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raised your hand to acknowledge him, and show you weren't scared. Hi, hey Space Cadet. Are you lost? We'll go with hi. At the start, he jumped to his feet, his hands falling into fists at his sides. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts. His eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, so when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes wide, he studied you. How'd you know that? I met your dad. I'm all-knowing. Lucky guess. Let's be practical.
Oh.
So, is this your hill? Gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding his face, flying at the prospect. I can leave if it is. You can't own a hill. Why not? How could you? You just do. I had a hill back home. Well, this still isn't mine. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange young boy with the odd dad, he sat on a patch of grass next to him. The pure white clouds that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers, too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. I think this is a more important question at the moment. A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped, tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand, before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. I'm sorry. Your dad seems kind of nice. You'll like it here. You just have to get used to it. Stop crying. Let's go with this one. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. Sunset Bird was a nice place to live. It had a beach, playgrounds, a good school. At least you thought so. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Julia!
Cove?
Cove! Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back to that house. You can handle it. You have to go. Don't worry so much. Sorry, I have to. It'll be okay. We'll go with this one. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not going to be all fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. And you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. Dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? And he looked towards the sound of his dad's voice, silent, and turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm.
Sorry.
Still don't want to go. We'll go with this one. Yeah, I get it. You do? Before he could answer, you heard Cove's dad, even closer than before. There you are, bud. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Julia, you're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. So you might have gone off further away. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Why wasn't already acting like this? It's such a big thing. We're okay, don't worry. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. Let's just go with this one. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? He looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arm. He shrugged. Yes, I like him. He's good. I think I'm gonna marry him. We'll go with this one. But that one will be funny. You know, smiling slightly. Letting go of the squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
That's a relief.
Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Julia knows the whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove.
Bye.
The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading towards the neighborhood. Flash Cove's bright pink cat until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? The new friend's dad just wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Sure, can I show him my stuff? Sounds like words. You nodded, ducking your head down. We'll go with the first one.
Of course.
Then okay. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arms around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Relaxed and fun. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Your sister Lucy had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your mom had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Glad to see your new friend again, Julia? Yeah, I am. How sweet. I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Yeah. I don't know, am I? The bowl was entirely empty, so you nodded. I guess you're down to the empty dish in front of you and raising your eyebrows dramatically.
Okay.
We see. Good job. You should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then on cue there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Julia, could you get it? Wiggling out of your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. I can't do that. At least not now. I don't remember if I ever did it. I think I always push my chair back. It was just easier. Hey, family, thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your mom just called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, he smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Let's go play in my room.
Okay.
Oh.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit outside of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, and a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. You leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Me too. I drew that. Thank you. I don't. Who says that? Really? Let's go with this one. Cool. You smiled at him, so proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. You turned and looked around the room a little more, and the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. You started to feel a bit nervous. You thought the atmosphere was kind of awkward. You were glad for the company. You hoped you liked your room. You put a lot of effort into making your room as nice as it was. You hoped you didn't say anything bad about it. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things he'd collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach.
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box to the middle of the room, you and Cove sat down next to it. I think so. Yeah. See? She gets into a piece of bottom still covered with specks of sand.
Neat.
This is a good collection. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that it wasn't just saying it to be nice or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Shiloh is going to be here today. Shiloh? Lizzie's friend, or like her number one fan, I guess? Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine, but, you know. Come on, check out my shelf some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and pull out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Over the past few years, you'd even learned some of their scientific names. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell for all of them. It really faltered a little bit, but you kept going as best you could. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. The Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then, while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guess it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was sorry that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought the shot box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Great. Bust it open. We can keep looking while we wait for Shiloh. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh, like he hadn't spoken aloud yet. He turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. He looked at you in surprise, his eyes going wide. Really? Sure, you like it a lot, right? But I don't want to take it from you. It's okay. You got the impression he was hesitant to accept something because he didn't know you very well. No, it's okay for you. He pushed the shell against Cove's chest, willing him to receive this present. The Cove suddenly shook his head and kept his arms tightly at his side. It was a battle you couldn't win, at least not today. Cove was your neighbor now. Maybe you could give it to him another time. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach bindings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. You knew where to look for that. Busy's friend? You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings off. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. You'll be alright. He's here. We can't tell him to leave. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked onto the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. You want to break your other arm? Shiloh is the least scary person alive. Cheer up. Shiloh's gonna like you. Please don't get hurt. I'll come with you. Good idea. Let's go. Hurry. They'll see where we're going. He glanced back at you, then nodded. The two of you made your way to the window together. It wasn't much of a distance to clamber out, but by the time you landed gently in the bushes, you looked up to see that Cove was already taking off away from the house. He was fast, but you knew you could outrun him if you had to. He wasn't that fast. You knew you could outrun him if you had to. He's not that fast, but neither were you. At that speed, you weren't sure if you could go fast enough to reach him. Oh! You ran as fast as your legs would take you, grasping around your ankles as you did so. Cautiously, Cove slowed to a halt and looked back at you. Where are you going? I don't know. Somewhere else. I just don't want to see... Julia! Look back and saw Shiloh hopping down the hill after you, the backpack he clutched bouncing all around along the way. What are you doing? Can I come? I must have seen you leaving out the window and followed behind.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Are you Cove?
Yeah.
I'm Shiloh. Okay. Yep, are we going back or are we going to play outside? Shiloh's eyes moved between you and Cove. The smile remained strong on his face. I got a tiny frown from Cove in response. We're just grateful he hadn't asked why you had been running away. Inside, we left the box on the floor. Right, my shelves and stuff. We have to make sure they're okay.
Okay.
With Shallow trailing behind, you and Cove headed back towards the house. Sorry for the afternoon, at least, as far as you were concerned, but to sit and look at the beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out the scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's pretty color. Kind of like my cat. The beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. Okay.
Oh?
Is it your favorite? Not really. What is? Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow. Oh, those are all cool.
I guess. Awesome.
Local then smiled. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shallow to get fidgety. Lizzie was her favorite. Without her around, Shallow didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you either. Is Lizzie coming back? Don't know.
Aww.
Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach. Probably. Is she playing at her park? His eyes lit up at the mention of the park and he looked towards you. There's a park? Yep, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. Started getting up before you had even answered, and Charlotte jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? You do too, right, Julia? The park is fun. Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun stuff to do, and lots of sand. That's a junket gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it could be cool. So, are we going to find Lizzie? I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out. Just without any direction, Shallow finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It's only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. In a short walk to the park, Sophie had convinced your mom that it was so short she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. Yeah, there's a park not too far from my house, but it's probably a bit further than this short walk. When you found her, she was just hanging on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up when she saw you, big brown eyes glowing wide. Julia, Shiloh. Hi. She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. We were used to being left out when it's just the three of you, but now Cove was here. You wondered if he would leave too. Who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. She gestured widely with her arms as if to present the area to the newcomer. Without interrupting Lizzie's speech, Cove whispered in your ear quiet enough that the others wouldn't overhear. Thought kids couldn't own places like parks or hills. You couldn't help but laugh a tiny bit. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes through the warm sand. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You are?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the oldest. By a lot. My mom said you're Julia's age. Yeah. That's so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. What about other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth.
Oh.
For a second, it looked like he might cry again. But something in his eyes shifted, and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people, like moms and dads, or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. I'm between those first two options. So, dice RNG, speak to me. Here we go. We got a D4. Whoop. Odd number, first option. Even number, second option. We're not doing the third option. Odd number, 1. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shadow was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Julia in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Shadow looked down to the dirt. He hasn't had much luck to strike up conversations with Cove. I like summer vacation a lot, too. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. A shadow's discomfort at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely. Didn't really know, but she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird, Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. She offered him a small smile, and that at least looked to reassure him some. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. He saw him more often than Shadow, and on some days when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way sun and lunch and the beach were. During your first summer together, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to like playing with you too. Of course, that was only the start of things. Okay. I'm not sure how to get the DLC to show up, because I have bought the DLC. Let's at least do this first one. Cove's dad, come back before it gets dark, alright, sport? Another voice drifted across the street and drew your attention away from the snow you'd been watching inch slowly across the pavement. Cove waited in front of his dad, pushing his green hair back off his face from where the breeze was blowing it over his glasses. He looked to be paying only a mild amount of attention as he was being handed a few slips of green paper. It reminded you of when you first met Mr. Holden, though he's clearly not paying Cove to be friends with himself. Cove's dad seemed to feel your gaze somehow, and maybe you made a noise, because a second later, his eyes were on you. He led you over with a smile. He looked happy to see you, but you still felt a little weird for getting caught. You gotta learn how to be more sneaky. You brushed your hands together to free them of his hands and jogged over to join the two, smiling at Cove first, and then his dad. Julia, hi.
How's it going?
Good to see you again. What excitement are you up to today, Julia? Taking a walk. I got a pretty cool snail across the road. There's lots of snails around here. Mr. Holden grinned at you kindly. After you finished answering the question, Mr. Holden's attention returned to Cove, who was preoccupied with folding the bills he had into a tiny rectangle. Sounds fun. You know, Cove was about to hit the stores by the beach. Why don't you go with him? You gave a ready nod, turning to sprint in the direction of the stores like you could see the goods they had to offer over from where you stood. Oh, is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't mind. Great, I'm sure you guys will have loads of fun. Mr. Holden reached into his pocket and pulled out a leather wallet filled with money. He found it odd, since your mom's only ever seemed to have cards in theirs. Here. He leaned in to pass a crisp pen to Cove, giving him a wink and a whisper. Get something for your friend, too. Sure.
Good kid.
That's my boy. Cove's dad ruffled his son's hair as he was straightening back up, the bill in his hand still held up towards the green-haired boy. Take care. Cove accepted the bill after a second and slipped it into his pocket. Then with one last nod to his dad, he turned and started walking. And called after him, intrigued at the possibilities this outing might bring. The coast rage was a gentle tide creeping up the sand, and he fell into place beside him. It was a nice day. The sun was shining, and there wasn't many clouds in the sky, but the wind coming off the ocean kept it from being too hot. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. He took in a deep breath, enjoying the scent of salt and ocean air. When he looked at Cove, his darkness beat through the sand a little, and he slowed down to wait for him. His eyes searched the ground intently. Are you looking for shells? Cove startled a little at the sound of your voice and mumbled it, sort of. See, Annie, you can let me know. You could manage that. You stepped your view to the sand, walking carefully so you didn't step on any. Annie, you were good at finding shells. You had a lot of them at home, and always found new ones whenever you visited the beach. Covering the sound of the waves filled with silence with pleasant white noise, and you played a little game with yourself as you walked along, as close to the water as possible without getting wet. It resulted in you having to run up the sand quickly when the waves rushed in more than a few times, and although Cove threw a few glances your way, he didn't say a word. Lots of things. I like bodyboarding and volleyball and surfing and everything and stuff. The idea of standing on a big board while the waves propelled you towards shore was mystifying. I'm not allowed to surf. It looks hard. Not once you get the hang of it. I could show you sometime. But I'm also not supposed to surf right now because I have this. Lifted up one arm, showing off the glaring pink cast wrapped around his wrist. Yeah, that's sad for him. Cove still smiled though. I thought his nonchalant attitude towards the injury was pretty brave. I just like collecting stuff that's on the shore. Shells, sand dollars. I found a shark tooth once. You did? Cove stretched out his forefinger and thumb. It was this long. That was somehow both scary and delightful. Yeah, I would feel the same way too. There's my picture. No way! I mean it. I still have it under my bed. You'd have to remember to ask him to show it to you sometime. What about you? What do you do out here? I like swimming. Cove's lips curled up in a small smile. Me too. It occurred to you that you haven't been swimming in a while. There's just so much to do before school started up again, and so little time. Once you reached the shopping area, the noise level grew exponentially. No longer just waves and footsteps, but the chatter of people enjoying the lovely summer day, small birds trying to find bits of food left behind, and lots of salespeople trying to get attention. You sniffed the air as you walked beside Cove. You could still smell the ocean, but there were other scents now too: pizza, pretzels, hot donuts. The energy surrounding the area seemed to fill you, and there was a bounce in your step as you began looking at all the familiar sights. There were so many things to do, you didn't know where to begin. You looked at Cove, hoping he was just as excited as you were. Cove was glancing from one side of the street to the other with a look in his aquamarine eyes that you couldn't quite work out. What's that? Cove pointed to a large crowd of people gathered near a few tables with large, colorful umbrellas blooming from their middles. I like that description, blooming. You couldn't see past the adults who were blocking the way, but you knew there must be something worth seeing. Without another word, the two of you hurried over to see what all the commotion was about. Feast your eyes on the amazing Alexander! The center of the crowd was a man with a tall hat and a funny green coat that had 3 long tails. There was a little table next to him with a cloth hanging over it that read the Amazing Alexander in glittery golden script. Why tell people his name if it's already on his sign? Cove hummed with understanding, then turned to walk away just as the Amazing Alexander began shuffling a deck of cards. Maybe we could stay and watch? Cove glanced back at the man. He then briefly lifted his arms up off his sides before returning them to place. He grinned, waiting for him to follow you as you raced back to stand in the crowd. With that, it began. The magic man pulled one card out of the deck, showing it to the curious onlookers. It was the 4 of diamonds. Watch closely! You did, squeezing through a few of the adult onlookers to get a better view. Suddenly the man snapped his fingers and the card just disappeared. Whoa! The Amazing Alexander, who had earned his title, turned his head and looked directly at you, reached out with a kind smile. What's this behind your ear? It was true, you didn't keep anything there. He smelled like popcorn and candy when he stepped closer, and you wrinkled your nose in confusion as you watched him. He felt his neck, and then he pulled the 4 of diamonds out from behind your ear. Well, you knew that it couldn't really come from your ear, but you still didn't get how he'd done it. There was slight applause from the crowd, and the man gave a deep bow. This is for you. The magician plucked a pair of balloons from a clump of them tied down to his table. Both were in the shape of a dolphin instead of being a normal circle. And one for your friend, too. Thank you for being my assistant. Wow. Now you were really grateful he chose you. After that, he went to someone else in the crowd. Pick a card, any card. My uncle does that every time he visits. Not the balloons, the stuff with cards. Cove spoke plainly while reaching over to take the dolphin that had been designated for him. At least you had a fun time. No magic trick, and you got a great balloon. That was more than enough to make it a worthwhile event. You thought that if you could find a card to practice with, maybe you could make it disappear too. The crowd started to clear some, and you noticed to the side there was a whole rack of brightly colored kaleidoscopes on display. So we're gonna pick one of these three. We're not gonna pick the fourth one. So 1 or 4, first option. 2 or 5, the second option. 3 or 6, third option. 4. Ooh, these are cool. You shifted your balloon string to your other hand so you could bring the mysterious tunnel to your eye. A whole palette of colors appeared right in front of you, spinning into all kinds of different shapes as you twisted the end of the tube. Cove picked one up and looked through, twisting the tube at the end. After a second, he set it back on the rack, moving to the other side of the stall. He went under the awning, careful of his own floating dolphin, and you joined him. Let's put this in. Nodded and you smiled back at him, happy to hear it. Yeah, sometimes when you're an introvert, you don't always show how you're feeling. I mean, it said that Cove showed his feelings on his face, didn't really hide them. But, you know, sometimes what's on his face doesn't reflect what he's feeling. When Cove moved towards some stalls nearby, you followed beside him. While Cove looked at Sandtails, you were drawn to a table with colorful keychains laid out on it. They were shown in the shape of sea creatures and had a plaque that read "Handmade," standing proudly in front. There were lots of different types: a dolphin, a shark, a crab, a turtle. Your hand stopped on the shark, a beauty smirk filled with sharp teeth on its face. You weren't supposed to go near sharks in real life, but there was something about this shark you liked, and the fabric on its back was soft when you picked it up. You were instantly enamored. Checking the price, though, your heart fell. $6. You didn't know much about money. You thought that was a lot to spend on one thing. Something handmade like that, it can... $6 isn't that bad. You really had more than a $5 bill to your name. Is that what you want? Huh? Oh, $6. It doesn't bring any money.
Alright.
It's fine. Really? Really? Are you sure? Hooray! You don't have to. I don't want you to get it for me. Cove took the keychain from her hands, and that was that. He was holding a small yellow bucket for himself, too. I was always going to get you something. I already got the money for it. He smiled, pleased to have things work out. It was nice of Cove's dad to let Cove buy something for you, too. You have to remember to thank him next time you saw him. After Cove paid, the two of you stepped out of the store side by side, your balloon dolphins flopping together and spiraling around in the air. You watched Cove hold up his moon pale to his face, examining it thoroughly. Hey, Cove? Yeah? Thank you. It's nice. Cove looked further down the street, where different food carts were lined up. He rested his non-cast arm over his stomach, and just as he did, yours let out a light growl. You hadn't eaten since breakfast, and after all of this wandering around, you were definitely ready for some lunch. Let's get some food. Yeah. You two wandered around a short while, looking at all the delicacies that were available. Everything looked delicious, and as the different smells, both sweet and healthy, wafted over to you, your stomach growled even louder. That's me. The smell of food will definitely make me feel even hungrier. With the passing up hot dogs, snow cones, ice cream, and pizza, you both agreed on price. Remember the icon for this moment was a pretzel? I've got something sweet and cinnamony, and you got a plain one with cheese, got one with sprinkles, got one with chocolate, got the thing. Can I go back? It's sweet and cinnamony, or with chocolate. You licked your lips hungrily as the vendor handed your pretzel over, ready to take a big bite. It had tiny marshmallows on it and was dripping with chocolate, just how you liked it. Your mom didn't like you to eat too much sugar, but this was a special occasion. You found an empty table close enough to the beach that the grit of the sand made terrible noises when you dragged the chairs out to sit down. These balloons are going to make it hard to eat. Bill placed his bucket on the table as he stared at his still balled up hand that was wrapped around the string. You opened your mouth to agree before an idea hit you. I know. You're carefully placing your pretzel somewhere it wouldn't get sandy. You tugged the balloon dolphin out of Phil's hand and tied it in a delicate bow around his wrist.
Oh.
Phil bounced his arm up and down in place, testing the stability of your knot. After watching his balloon jostle around but remain attached, he smiled, satisfied. Can you do it for me? You repeated the ritual. Phil struggled somewhat with the catch, restricting his fingers on the one hand, and a string already tangled around the other.
Okay.
Got it. The two of you spent a moment admiring your handiwork, both hands now free to allow easy munching on your pretzel. You bit into the doughy treat, savoring the taste on your tongue with a smile as you looked out over the ocean. After a time you finished your pretzel. You were done before Cove. It was boring not having anything to do. You pulled on the string of your balloon to bring it down to your level. Then you held the dolphin in your hands, manipulating it to make it look like it was jumping through the air. If you turned your face towards the beach, it looked almost like it was swimming in the waves like a real dolphin. A laugh came from your side. When you glanced back at Cove, he had left the remaining part of his pretzel on the wrapper, and he was gripping his dolphin, too. My name is Merriweather. He's the prince of the dolphins. My name is Flash. They star in movies. My name is Cherry. She's actually an alien. My name is Sam. They're just a regular dolphin. He wears a crown made of seaweed, and all of his friends are merfolk. Every now and then he'll make friends with a kid and let them ride on his back. He sighed, wishing you could meet a real dolphin like Merriweather. What's yours? Cole considered this question, placing the balloon against the table and resting his free arm across it in contemplation. With a loud pop, the dolphin exploded into ribbons. Oh no. For a second, all Cole did was gape in shock, like you. His cheeks puffed up, squinting his eyes, and he saw tears start to glisten. Julia, it... You looked at Cove, then up to your balloon, bobbing gently in the air above you. You can have mine. That was better than letting him cry more. Cove sniffled, looked dancing up at the balloon, then back at you. No, it's yours. I don't want to take it from you. It's okay, really. Cove shook his head. Even though it wasn't your fault, you felt bad. Still, the officer seemed to lift Cove's spirits, and that was good. The passage of Cove's balloon was the last major event of your adventures. In the end, the two of you headed back late that afternoon. You separated on the beach, and while Cove went straight home with his brand new sand pail in hand, you decided to sit for a while. You watched the waves and the sunset, filling with your new keychain. Another summer day was drawing to a close. It's been a good one, except for the sad final note. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and stop here. I will hopefully figure out how to get the DLC to save, to load, so that we can watch all of them. Or maybe I will save them and do them by myself. Who knows? Okay, so let's go to the gallery. There's the picture of Cove. Oh, cool. Oh, I guess they're other people that we haven't met yet. Anyway, yeah, so that's it for now. If you enjoyed watching this and you're watching on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more. At this point, you should see that I've got plenty of other live streams that I've uploaded. The company that created this game are working on another game in a similar vein, except the love interest is a girl. I should say female. So I've been following their updates on that. There's nothing, it's not even a demo, I think. But it looks interesting. So we've actually got caught up to where I left off. So all the rest will be new to me. I haven't played beyond that first moment. I think I know how to get the DLC to show up. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so thank you for joining me, and next week we will be continuing with this. I don't know how long it's going to take me, how many sessions it's going to take me to get through the game. It depends on how long it takes to get through the different moments and if I actually do the DLC as well. But for now, I hope you have a good week, and take care. Bye.